Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing a little critique on a fitness YouTuber, Jason Blaha. Great advice about strength training. Completely clueless about pretty much any other topic, and sadly on occasion he does touch on other topics. So give this little video a view and tell me that you disagree with me.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about something that might sound like I'm being facetious. It might sound like my title is clickbaity, but I really and truly do mean this. And that's the idea that veganism and carnivore diets are the same thing.
You couldn't make it up, could you? Veganism and carnivore diets are the same thing. Well, number one, veganism is an ethical stance. There's a dietary component in that you don't eat dead bodies, animal secretions, but a carnivore diet is just that. Like, it's just food. Well, I don't think it's food. It's beings and that comes out of them. It's weird if you think about it. So veganism, a vegan diet can be unhealthful. Most vegans eat an unhealthy version of a vegan diet. I mean, it's healthier in that it doesn't contain animal products, which do lead to the top causes of death. But sadly, there's a lot of processed plant foods which also can contribute to the leading causes of death. So specifically, you want to eat predominantly or entirely a whole foods, plant-based or vegan diet. So I think when people speak in these terms and they don't differentiate, like they don't understand that there's no one vegan diet, that tells you their level of intelligence and how little attention you should pay to them.
They really are the same thing fundamentally, and they will both absolutely make it dramatically more difficult for you to gain muscle and to gain strength.
Is that right, Jason? Do you have science to back up your claims? What's that? No, you don't. Well, I do. Here is the latest, best ever study on omnivorous bodybuilding versus vegan bodybuilding. Link below, check it out. Absolutely zero difference. So, wrong.
And in some cases, even perform as an athlete.
So why is it that there are so many world-class and world record-holding athletes, both in endurance and strength physique sports? Answer me that. Such a tiny percentage of the population, yet so many world-class, world record-holding athletes. Wake up, son. You're not that stupid, I'm sure.
Why do I say that? Well, number one,
because you're biased, because you don't want to think that you're a bad person with your meal choices. I do seem to remember, I used to watch this guy. I've not watched him for years, but years ago I did watch him. I liked some of his strength training stuff. He was vegan back then. I believe his partner was vegan. And he thought that was great. He thought that was a great way to build muscle. He didn't have any issues then. I don't know how true this is. I heard that his missus dumped him, and so I'm guessing he put animal products back in to spite her. I mean, he seems to be of relatively low intelligence, and that's the kind of childish thing I would expect someone to do. She's probably completely forgotten him, and now he's causing animals to pay for. But she's on to the next person. She don't give a shit. She's not thinking about him. And he's thinking, I'm eating steaks, I'm getting back at her. Well, no, you're murdering, you're causing beautiful, sentient, feeling beings to go through absolute hell, mentally, physically. You're taking their lives so that you can make your life short, give yourself heart disease, F up the planet. What a clever guy.
They're both extremely restrictive diets.
Restrictive? In the first 2 years of my whole foods plant-based diet, I ate over 500 different foods. How many different foods do you eat?
That make it very, very difficult for you to get balanced nutrition, because both of them.
Would you like to prove that? Do you have studies? I've written, as a nutritionist, I've written plans for 1,600 calories for a female. I did not have any issue getting every single nutrient covered. Non-issue. BS, show me the study.
Them eliminate.
You don't just say any old thing. And okay, some of your followers may be stupid enough to fall for it. Just for any of your followers that are watching, a statement made with no evidence can be dismissed without consideration, because it's just word. You can say anything. You need evidence. So waste of time. Why did those words were a complete waste of time, yours and mine.
Very large, very important food groups that are are extremely useful and extremely valuable for not just health, but for gaining muscle strength, athleticism.
What are the essential nutrients that can only be sourced from dead bodies and animal secretions? Would you care to show us a list? Would you care to show us the studies? No, because you're talking out of your bum hole.
Number two, they both come from a place of mental illness.
I beg your pardon? Mental illness? So were you mentally ill like years ago? Again, show us the studies. You're just trying to cause controversy to drive views. You're not this bloody stupid. Most people are vegan because they don't want to harm animals unnecessarily, like some kind of barbaric asshole. Or they're eating a whole foods plant-based diet because they don't want to be the cause of their own death. Or, it can be environmental reasons also. So are you non-vegan for unhealthy, unethical, or unenvironmental reasons, Jason? Which is it?
Or a cult-like behavior that places a moral value on
cult-like behavior. Basically, when I go in the supermarket, I just miss out a few of the aisles. I get my fruits, veg, whole grains, nuts, seeds, herbs, spices, legumes, and I just eat food. A cult-like behavior would be to have, animal sacrifices. So who's the occult-like person here, Jason, out of me and you?
On your food choices. And they're generally the same people. In other words,
they're against animal abuse, but they want to cause the most animal abuse possible. Fucking hell, son.
The same people who might have been promoting large amounts of veganism and spreading the vegan diet years ago.
Promoting large amounts of veganism. The hell does that mean?
Go over to carnivore diets because they didn't work on whatever was going on as far as their own mental health.
Mental health? Why did you keep going on about mental health? Where do people choose specific diets for mental health? And actually, a whole foods plant-based diet is superior for mental health. Toxic breakdown products from animal protein residues in the colon, putrescine, cadaverine, cresol do lead to horrible brain health. Whereas, there's certain compounds in a lot of plant foods which lower your monoamine oxidase, giving you more free serotonin, dopamine, raising your mood. Or monoamines, 95% are made in the colon from short-chain fatty acids. Where do you get short-chain fatty acids? You get the most when you're eating soluble fiber-resistant starch polyphenols, aka whole plant foods, feeding the good gut bacteria, and then they're making these substrates. I could tell you a dozen other things where whole plant foods are better for brain health and animal products, processed junk, are horrible for it. But, he's not providing any evidence, so why should I bother?
They didn't work on the things that led them to become obsessed with a vegan type diet to begin with.
Work on things that led them to become obsessed with a vegan type diet. Calling it a diet again. People just don't want to hurt animals unnecessarily. Why can't you get it through your thick head that some people are altruistic and don't just think of themselves, taking someone's life for a sandwich? Wake up, man.
And because they didn't fix the...
But no, that's mental illness. That's an easy out, isn't it? Oh, they're mentally ill. I'm all right. I'm a good person. It's just that they're mentally ill. That's why they think that's right. Despite the fact that the science shows us animal products cause death, whole plant foods, eat more fruits and veg, eat less fat, trans fats and cholesterol. This is what all decent health authorities that we should be listening to all across the world, they all agree. Yeah, for some reason, you're not getting the message.
These things, when they leave the vegan diet...
It's not a vegan diet, son. It's an ethical stance. It's a bit like saying that someone is anti-child abuse or anti-wife bash, and then when they leave that diet and then they get into some wife bashing, it's not dietary, it's ethics. It's your morals. Are you or are you not a good person? That's not something that you can change overnight.
And they will, because there's been university studies on this. Studies have shown...
Yeah, there's been one bias study.
That...
I know what you're going to say, 88%.
88% of people who become...
Don't just any one single study that comes along that suits your bias, see it, take it at face value, look into who funded it, what was it good data? I know hundreds and hundreds of vegans, and I can count the ones who have left veganism. I've been vegan for 9 years. I could probably count them on one hand, and all but one of them were influencers. I think this is what you're speaking to. I think you're talking about influencers, and I think that they perhaps were pretending to be vegan for clout because it was popular, and then they had declining views. So, oh no, I'll go carnivore, or I'll flip the script, cause controversy like you're trying to do now, and get loads of views. Now, when people are vegan, they tend to stay vegan. I think I know one person in real life who ever went back. Yeah, and just a few influencers who, if I wasn't in the YouTube scene, I wouldn't have known them. Check your bias, Jason. You're not this thick, I'm sure.
Vegans, like serious vegans, full-on vegans, where they do the full vegan thing, 88% of them return to eating meat. Okay?
Are you sure?
A pretty big statistic. That's slightly higher than 7 out of 8 people.
Shut up, you twit.
So out of every 8 vegans you meet, 7 of them will eventually go back to meat and eat. And a lot of them say, oh,
go back to meat and eat. What? And vegans get accused of having brain fog.
I've seen vegans do that who said that I've been a vegan for 6 years, right?
I've been a vegan for 9 years and I'm doing absolutely fine. And I've not withered away. Look at me, I got traps for days.
Who now, today, they eat meat. They eat meat and eggs today.
Nah, that's not going to happen, son. A, because I'm not a barbarian, and B, because I don't want to be the cause of my own death.
Who I know, because I'm friends with them on social media and stuff, and people like that over the years.
Oh, friends on social influencers then. Right, I was right, was I?
Or people I've met who are friends. That's exactly what they do. The majority, the overwhelming majority, cannot sustain it.
Show me the data. What? There is none? Strange.
So they go to the carnivore diet, which allows them to rebel against the veganism because they couldn't handle it.
Rebel against the veganism. Projection, I think there, Jason. Projection, Your Honor.
Suffered health problems, and yes, health problems from the vegan diet are extremely common. And I've met quite a few people, and I have clients.
Well, I was a nutritionist by trade. I don't do it now. I'm just on the YouTubes, but I didn't have any issues if I prescribe people a proper balanced whole foods diet with the couple of supplements that you need. No problem at all. So I don't know what your problem is.
Former clients who were vegans at one time, and they have suffered health issues from.
Perhaps you should learn about nutrition before you try to prescribe, I don't know, nutrition.
Right. And it is confirmed by their doctors that anyone who digs around knows that this is true, and only those with their cult-like behavior
terrible.
Are in denial.
All my friends are dead.
When they rebel against it, what do? They go over, they need something else extreme to replace it. They need to have an extreme diet that makes them feel morally superior to other people.
I think there's a projection again. Like you're making these massive assumptions about whole groups of people, millions of people. Oh, they're doing it because they want to feel morally superior. If I felt morally superior, I would take someone's life for just the sake of a sandwich, which is going to take me 3 minutes to eat. That's moral superiority in action. I'm not doing it to elevate myself above others. Again, perhaps when you were pretending to be a vegan, perhaps you felt morally superior. I'm just trying not to hurt others unnecessarily. Why is that so hard for you to get your head around? You're obviously projecting, son.
And so then they go to the other end of it and say, well, let's just, instead of no animal products, we'll just eat no plants. And they come up with the most ridiculous.
How many people do you know, even influencers, who've went from veganism to carnivorism? 1 or 2 tops? Where does he get these fanciful ideas? He believes his own bullshit, doesn't he, bless him?
Ludicrous things. And keeping in mind, a carnivore diet and no plants is not healthy long term.
It's not healthy short term. It's not healthy to include small amounts of animal products.
And they come up with craziness instead of just eating some broccoli or a carrot or drinking some orange juice, right?
You don't want to drink orange juice. Free sugars devoid of fiber are the #1 dietary contributor towards Alzheimer's disease. If you knew about nutrition, you might be up to date with the latest research into neurobiology, Jason.
Oh, well, we can get our vitamins.
I would recommend the book 30-Day Alzheimer's Solution by Dean and Aisha Scherzer. You could learn a lot, son.
Our ascorbic acid from just, if we go find adrenal glands of an animal and eat those, we can get enough vitamin C to survive on.
Well, at least he's bagging on carnivores, so like, you know, he is at least half intelligent.
That is a place at that point of mental illness, that you're not going to eat a vegetable, or you literally start thinking vegetables are bad for you when the overwhelming bulk of the research, and I'm talking 99% of it, says vegetables and fruits are amazing for you.
Two things he's got right. There's hope yet.
At least up to a certain threshold. Maybe not when you exceed a certain threshold.
Do you think? Again, do you want to provide evidence? Because as far as I know, and I've sort of kind of looked into it a little bit over the last 9 years, the more fruits and veggies we eat, the more fibre, the less stroke, the less all-cause mortality, with no upper ceiling. If you could provide me with some data suggesting otherwise, or change my perspective in the light of new data, but of course you're just talking unsubstantiated nonsense again. I'm guessing. Please feel free to prove me wrong.
Do you understand that that's mental illness at that point?
Do you understand, Jason, what mental illness actually is? And do you understand like what mis and disinformation is, and that some people are thick? Just a little pointer for you.
And that's as crazy and as extreme as the veganism. It's the same people that are usually former vegans.
The only thing that's extreme about veganism is the compassion.
Who never got help. But now, because I'm a carnivore, you know, I'm at the top of the food chain, and I'm superior to other people.
I'm certainly going to get heart disease a lot faster than anyone else possibly could, so well done.
Just like how vegans are. Vegans, as a general rule, do it to feel a need to feel like they're morally superior.
How dare you? How dare you speak for... How do you know? Again, like, I think you're just projecting. I like to say, show me the data, but I feel like it's going to get so repetitive, this video.
It is what they do it to handle that need they have inside to feel morally superior. Now, ironically, both of these groups are going to struggle to be superior because both of them are going to develop vitamin deficiencies.
Strange. When I have my bloods tested, my vitamins are all bang at the top of range. Again. Show us the data, the non-existent data, Jason.
And yes, the cognitive impact of vegan diets who do not supplement B12 have been documented. It's understood. It can cause not only...
I'm very sorry, but in all my years as a nutritionist, I came across one person who was B12 deficient, and they ate meat. They ate tons of meat. Vegans know to take a B12, damn it. Jesus Christ. 2/5 of Americans are B12 deficient. So mostly meat eaters, because there's only like 1% of Americans probably who are vegan. So mostly meat eaters are B12 deficient, not vegans, Jason. Wakey, wakey.
These diets are both make it harder to be fitter, stronger, more athletic.
Yet, some of the top world-class athletes are vegan. World record holders are vegan. Yeah, it's harder. Yet there's hardly any vegans. Doesn't add up, does it, Jason? If you think about it, just for a minute.
So in actuality, they're diets that are intended for people to follow them so they can feel superior to other people. But the reality is...
just because you think something, don't make it true. You're basically an imbecile.
They're going to be not superior to other people. It's going to make them less intelligent, slower in their mind. It's going to make them physically weaker than people who just follow a balanced diet. Because you won't be able to train as hard as either one of these diets. You won't be able to. And you won't be able to recover as effectively.
Nonsense, sir!
So these diets do the exact opposite. They actually make you inferior, sicker.
Tell that to Lewis Hamilton. Tell that to Novak Djokovic. Tell that to Clarence Kennedy, the best Olympic lifter that the US has ever produced. The previous couple of Olympics, the only man to qualify, and in testing, he's the strongest athlete they've ever produced. How is that inferior? Patrick Baboumian, 555 kilo yoke walk, the most weight ever carried by a human being in the world. Vegan. Jahina Malik, vegan since birth, in the IFBB, the top bodybuilding federation that there is. Yeah, oh no, vegans are all soft, wimpy, waif-like folk who can't build muscle, and if the wind blows, they'll snap in half. Just take a look around. Use your eyes.
Dull-witted, weak. And not to say...
I just can't.
There aren't people who follow both of these diets who do reach good levels, but they're the exception.
Oh, okay. So that's your get out clause. Nice one.
They're the exception. They're not the norm.
Not only was I a nutritionist for several years, I was also a PT for several years. Half my clients were omnivorous, half were vegans. And I can tell you categorically, there's very little bloody difference. If anything, fitness gains, a bit easier on a vegan diet. I think it's a higher carb, more nitric oxide producing food, so more like vasodilation. So if anything, benefit to vegan nutrition for endurance. In terms of strength training, no real difference. You know, both groups, muscle growth, strength gains, yeah, equal, no difference. No difference. The one thing I found personally was that I recovered better and got less injuries because, you know, a nutritious vegan diet is more anti-inflammatory than eating a load of odd meat. And where do animals get the amino acids from in the first place? It's because they eat plants. Don't eat secondhand protein, man. It'll freaking kill you.
And I don't promote any one specific diet on my channel. I do different things at different times. At the time this video is being made, I've been running the vertical diet for a while. I like it. Mostly rice, potatoes, red meat, cultured dairy, and limited amounts of fruits and vegetables to make sure that I meet all my needs.
Oh, a vegan diet's restrictive. I mostly eat rice, potatoes, and beef. No, it's restrictive. And do you not know the health risks of eating meat? You reckon that you look at science, you must know that even small amounts of red meat seriously raise your risk for heart disease, let alone eating tons of them. What are you doing, man? And dairy, most saturated fat of any foods. What the hell are you doing? And why are you giving people health advice? Oh my God.
Very simple diet. Works very well. It's proven for
very simple diet. Oh, but veganism's restrictive.
athletes. It's a diet Thor used when...
Where's your nuts and seeds, man? I think you're going to be short on a few nutrients there, son.
And I happen to like it. It works for my life, but it's not necessarily superior.
That's for damn sure.
It's certain elements to it work really good for what I do. There's no one perfect diet.
Ooh, I think that if you look at the overwhelming preponderance of evidence, the more whole plant foods we eat, the longer we live, and the more animal products and processed junk we eat, the shorter we live. So I think that we can infer that a whole foods plant-based diet is going to be superior because it's the ultimate expression of those two truths. Come on, man. Come on. Use the old grey matter.
And your food doesn't make you morally superior.
I don't think that a vegan diet is the best we can do. I think it's the least we can do. I don't avoid animal products to be morally superior. I do it to not be an asshole. So in a kind of a way, I guess it is morally superior, but just because people who eat animals unnecessarily are, you know, just a little tad selfish, taking the lives of others, taking the only thing they've got, the most precious thing they've got, so they can taste their dead bodies for like a few minutes. Well, probably a few seconds, isn't it, really, that it's in your mouth. Do you know what I mean? Morally superior, wakey.
Eliminate entire important food groups, you are not going to be inferior. If anything, you're going to make yourself sicker, slower thinking.
You keep saying the same thing over and over again. Come on.
As a result of it.
Change the record.
But both of these diets
change the record or provide some evidence.
Achieve those same goals while making people believe that they are morally superior and eliminating
he's still going on about that.
Entire critical food groups. And both of these diets are absolutely ludicrous. They're absolutely ludicrous. And I would say to anyone who's really buying into the hype of either one, you're not being objective in your research. You are only looking at very biased sources.
Not being objective in your research. Are you being objective in your research, Jason? If you're really honest with yourself and you stop and really think about it.
All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative.
No, it really hasn't. Thank he's done. Now click this.